hello, stop my video, good.
Okay, everyone's hear me okay?
Yeah, all the,
Yeah.
okay, cool, all good.
So, hi, onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Okay, so we'll start a little bit of stretching up, just coming up through the feet. So kind of work bottom up, toes to top. So just stretching up and dropping down. If you like, you can also do this kind of in a way like you do with the setai, a bit kind of bouncy. I'm trying not to do a lot of bouncing movements at the moment, but if you like, I'll still go there, but just come up, stretch. And if you're doing this as like a static, just come up, tighten at the top. You can also tighten and clench the fists as well. And then just let it go, coming down. What I tend to do in karate, this is like dynamic, like quite, and then really slow down this way. So it's like quite, and then, but you can also do that both ways. So you can kind of, you can experiment a little bit. Nice, great. But just play with this movement kind of coming up. The key thing is like coming up to a kind of straight, especially the legs. Just feeling yourself kind of coming naturally up to like a tensile structure. So you're like, go, go, let it go. Go, go, let it go. And then just playing a little bit with the feet, just bringing all the toes up. It's as if you're really trying to pull the toes towards your face. So it's like this, trying to really pull them up. So it's not just lifting them off the ground. Really like coil them towards the face. And then drop them down, and then just work with pulling the big toe up. And again, as if you're trying to pull the big toe up, really trying to activate. You feel the kind of shins, all the muscles in the legs, lower legs start to work. And then press the toes down to the ground, press the big toe, bring up the other toes, and really press the big toe down. Just like kind of activating the legs a little bit. Just working the sides, edges of the feet. Just be careful of the knee, don't want to go sideways over it. And just one leg into the ground, nice and mobile, rolling the ankle. And if you like, curl the toes over, just add a little bit of pressure down onto the toes, not too much. Just coil it down. Good. And just lift the leg out. You're just going to cycle between pointing the toe, like a ballet dancer, and then pointing the heel out. So you're going to have 1, 2, 1. Actually, do this in 3. You go 1 with the point the toes, point the ball of the foot, and then press the heel. You go 1, 2, 3. So the point, the ball, and the heel. Point, ball, heel. And each time kind of straighten the leg through it. So you're going to extend through the knee. Dong, 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 dong. And for the structure of the foot, used differently. That's it. Good. And then just for this leg, nice and loose. Start to bring the knee into it. Just allow the knee to naturally kind of fold dynamically or naturally bend. Good. And again, try and straighten the leg as much as possible. So extend through the heel. Just swing the leg a bit dynamic. It's kind of easy. Start to bring it more to the back. That. And then that. And then what I want you to do is go into a static. So you're going to bring it up high as you can at the back. Oh, it's really low. Hopefully you can get a bit higher than this. You feel all the glutes activate, right, like this. That's what you want. It's good. And then bring it forward, sit through, and just hold it a little bit here. And then again, just at the back. So great for the balance. If the balance gets distracting, use a chair or something. So it's not fundamentally about balance, but It's a kind of bonus, added bonus. Good. And then just shake it out a little bit, straighten it again, and bring it out to the side. And you can probably get a bit higher than me, but that's about my limit at the moment. And then slowly down. So just come out. You're going to do this like hold 2-3 seconds, and then let it go. Hold 2-3 seconds, let it go. Get a little bit like, oh, I forgot the bands. Yeah, it's a bit like you're doing it against resistance. So obviously you can just do that. But see if you can get a feeling of like the legs like splitting apart. So if you imagine like a rubber band or a resistance band around the legs, you can get these for like Pilates, but you press against it. And then imagine that band, if I release the tension, it will snap back. So what I want to do is like slowly release the tension. So it's like against the resistance and then against it as well. Just play with that a little bit. That's it. And then you're just going to do a pulsing movement. So you're going to come out, get to like maximum range, and then just pulse it. Like it can be really like a millimeter. It's just the activation of pulsing the leg. You can do about 20, 30, 40. It's a bit tough, but 20, 30, something like that. Just kind of pulse it a little bit. It's like maximum extension and like that kind of pulsing. Yeah, good. And then just relax it off. Good. And we go to the other side. So just plant that leg down. Just give me the generous cycle. So just roll it. Press weight down. Bend the toes over, work the toes a little bit. And then you're going to go to this pointing, ball of the foot, heel, toes, ball, heels, toes, ball, heels, toe, ball, heel. You can also just keep the leg in full extension, locked out, toe, press through the ball's the kind of difficult one. You've got to get a sense like you're pressing through that way, because the toes curl up and you push through. So if you're pressing something down with the ball of the foot, and then the heel. Point, ball. Great. Good. And then just balancing down. There. Let the leg go. Then straighten it out as much as you can. Okay, hold it a little bit to the back. Hold it. Bring it forward. Just hold it. Hopefully you can get a bit higher. Stiff hips today. Done. That to the back. Out. Back. Good, and then out to the side. Just get to the kind of maximum range again, as if you're doing it against resistance. Back. 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 And then just going as a pulsing a little bit. Okay. And the support legs working as well. Just about 10 more. Okay, great. So we're just got a little bit more dynamic now. Just let the legs come through there, through there, through there, through there, through there. Just really working the hip now. Hip, hip, hip. Do the same. You're going to bring the leg through forward. Again, really focusing on the hip. So let it go over. Let it go over. Just on the spot. It goes out, up and over. Out, up, over. Great. Last one's always a favorite. Put the hands out to the side. And then you come up. And just very lightly to start. Keep the hands down so it's not hitting down with the hand. It's bringing the knee to the hand. So then the hand stays static. This, It's this. Yeah. Hope you can bend the knee a bit more than me. This side, get this sense of like, this way, this way. You can also just change the, so that you can do it with the hands, you can also do the forearm. So it's like hitting the underside of the forearm. And feel the hands quite heavy. And again, if this is in AIKIKAI, you do this quite strongly up and then kind of press it down. But you can actually play with both ways. Slow, and then press it down. Or you can just do it all slow. Just play a little bit with it. That's it. Okay, let's see. This is one of those strange exercises, really stupid exercises. It tells you a lot about the body, especially in terms of balance. There we go. Great, Catherine, there we go. Okay, great. Good, there we go, that's it. So there's one thing in Aikido, we tend to be a bit wobbly in general, in terms of balance work, but just in terms of center work, we talk, just watch this, I can do the movement by like kicking, like moving the center out, so it becomes quite wobbly, the center's doing a lot of movement. Try and be a bit minimal with this exercise, so it's like this, center goes that and that, so that the core of the body really doesn't really move, that. So you want the movement to like come from a really stable core, bang! So it's going to come from like an explosive quality. And just anything I do which is going to kind of is going to kind of because in Aikido we're primarily focused on movement, mobility, and we focus in this style a lot on stability. But there's a consequence of like too much mobility training as well, too much movement training, that it tends to like everything becomes a bit wobbly. So just get a sense in this case, like this is really static work, and the core needs to be like engaging. Now in karate, really like everything goes like this. In Aikido, we tend to be a bit looser because we need also that center connection to be a bit looser. It needs to be a bit more flexible, a bit more fluid. Now karate goes there eventually, but also we need to spend a lot more time in that kind of core area. We just get the sense of something a bit more stable. So you should really get this sense like the center doesn't really need to go anywhere. And that's when eventually like the power will kind of be generated from that. So again, kind of stupid exercise, but there we go. Got it. And it's incredible the amount of, if I just change my mind to thinking be more stable, how much it affects the body. So if I'm really just focusing now on balance, stability, will totally affect the way I do the movement. So that's it, Adrian. There we go. Exactly. There we go. So it's like core engaged movement. Good. And then what I want you to do is just come to the hips this way, nice and loose. And both ways. And then nice and loose with the arms. Now it translates here as well. So what I want to feel is stability. So even though this is really a mobility, mobilizing, loosen exercise, just watch for this kind of stuff. I don't really want to swing the body out of joint, especially the center. So I really get a sense that the center is dropping down. Come. So the center, the core is pretty stable. So just play with it. You can bring the hands up a little bit. You can keep them down. It's actually an exercise not about the hands. It's really about what's happening in the center. Lewis was talking a lot on Saturday, for those who are aware, on the axis of the body. So this is also where you can really train this and get an idea of it. If I think about the center line of the body as my axis, if I'm constantly coming out of it, this is very hard to train like center work and grounding and balance and all these kind of things. So just imagine a pipeline running through the body and you kind of just rotate around it. And that ability to just change the center from the core of the body, this is really important, especially in terms of going fast and especially in terms of fluid work, but just in general. in terms of just being able to rotate through the structure, this is like essential stuff for us, because we spend a lot of time rotating. There we go. That's it. Totally, yeah. What you've got to be careful now, especially, is at the knees. So the knees need to be quite open, quite relaxed. I can't really go into this kind of tight position with the knees. So just listen to the knees. Don't screw against the knees. Let that motion come from the hips, from the spine. Just watch the knees in this case. Yeah, that's it. There we go, Catherine. Good. There we go. Great. So, great. Good. And then just coming into the chest. I just want to kind of just opening, closing, pushing it back. And just what I want you to do, we've done this quite a bit, focus on the chest movement first. Just get the movement in the chest. And then just feel what happens in the whole body. So as you kind of pull the chest out, what happens in the neck? What happens in the legs? What's happening in the shoulder blades? See how that movement and how I work this part of the body, how it affects the rest of the body. And again, it's just about noticing it. It's not about good structure, bad structure. It's just about noticing it for now. That's it. And then the same thing, just letting it come out to the side. Dum, dum. And again, quite a stable core. So I don't want to do, in this case, this. Keep the core stable and just really feel that whole ribcage area, shoulder blades, all mobilizing. And do the same thing as if you're going to press through four corners. You go to the front, to the side, backs. What you'll probably find, I find especially, it's also due to the way my spine is, that the back quarters are more difficult than the front. So I find it much more easy to mobilize this. But just notice whether there's more difficulty in one of the corners. You might have an old injury as well. In one side of the shoulder might also affect the kind of mobility in that area. And just work towards more mobility. So the more I feel it's kind of tight, the more I'll start to kind of work it. And just work it with the movement. So do some deep breaths in this kind of exercise, just to kind of expand open the rib cage as well. Just help. Quite subtle movement, but really, really nice way to kind of move the body as well. That's it. Again, just notice the effect on the rest of the body. What is the rest of the body doing? Or how does it affect the body? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, got it. Good. Yeah, good. Yeah, and then this is the other one. This is like this way, this way, this way, this way. Then you've got to the side. So you've got a kind of a movement which is like a tilt from that area as well. So you've got that. What we tend to do is like do this, which is a nice way of doing it. But just get a sense that this. Now, what I don't want to happen is like a collapse in that part of the body. So I want a sense of length. So when you do this one, you might find it just like take a deep breath, fill the lungs up, and then just like that. So you keep a sense of expansion out. And as you go over, just let the breath out of it as well. The key is that I'm not working in collapse on one side, working full kind of extension. And it's as if someone's down here, pulling the arm down. But what I don't want to happen is like, I don't want the structure to collapse again. So working a good structure, mobile, will also give you a kind of solidity in the structure as well. And it's just about opening expansion. There we go. You'll probably feel quite a lot. If you can work this area, you've got quite a big range of movement. Good. And then what I want you to do is just gently bring the rest of the body up into it. Just gently, and just work your way into it. But have the sense that that kind of movement's going to start. There. And as you get more into it, just start to involve the arm a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. In karate, do something like this with the hands, but just get a sense that it's quite a soft kind of movement coming out. Soft. And you can involve just one hand, kind of coming over, start to involve the other hand. We have this atemi in the system, this one, like this. It's in the Jodori. Just get the sense of the body waving out, and start to feel more and more. The more you reach out with the body, the more I've got to really deeply root the ground. The less I do that, you're just going to get carried over. That's it. So this is a really nice exercise for feeling the ground, feeling the kind of loose, open extension in the spine. Something quite flexible in it, but there's also something quite heavy and grounded in it. Yeah, that's it. And just as you get comfortable, just start to reach it out more and more. It shouldn't be uncomfortable in the spine. Just feel you can open it out. And again, you're looking for like an open, expansive quality. Good. Good. Okay, and we'll just take this into a bit more flexible. So you're going to go all the way over, and then feel there's a point where I can come back, but it's going to be a big struggle to come back. So I want it to feel like that, and then just catch it there. And then come back to the center, and then back to the center, and then you stretch out. Get to the point where it feels like there's no coming back. And then all the way around, come back to center, and then go the other way. Stretch it out, let it go. Stretch it out, let it go. And back to the center. That's it. So you're going to start to activate the legs now a lot more. That's it. And just let it go. Just let the body kind of swing through that motion. That's it. Just let it go. Boom. This is like you're on a roller coaster, but it's gonna go sideways as well. It's not just gonna go down through the dipper. It's gonna go through a sharp corner. You get drawn out. Just let it go. Boom. There we go. Nice. Very nice. Oh, I'm jealous of the flexibility of the moment. Damn. Oh, you good. Great. And then just to finish with this one, just keep it going. So you just go around. Now, add an extra one where you're going to like coil over the back as well a little bit. So let it kind of pass over, mobilizing the spine here and then here. So this is now much more about this and this part. So it's got the side, but don't come too far out to the side now. Just let it kind of pass through, open to the back, not too far. You don't want to tense the back too much, and then let it go. So you're exploring kind of bending back, folding forward. But you're doing it with passing a circle around. Now we do this a lot in Aikido, so the more we can stabilize these movements, the better. And just try a few in both directions. And feel free to kind of change the arms as well. You don't have to keep them above the head. Experiment a little bit with them, just passing a circle around. That's it. And as flexible as you feel, kind of follow that. So let the exercise be as flexible as you like, as big as you like. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Yeah. Nice. It's like you're all cleaning the top of the Zoom screen for me. You're all kind of wiping the top of the screen. Great. Oh, some of these silly exercises. Great. Okay, good. We're just going to finish with this one for the shoulder. So just coming here, this way. So just open in front and back. Again, this is really like a core centralizing exercise. So let the axis of the body go. And this is a tricky one because you've got to open out both sides equally. If I open up one and not the other fully, I will get kind of dragged out. So really feel that you get a sense of opening both sides out. And this kind of pipeline running through the body. Yeah. Just start with the idea of mobilizing the shoulders. That's it. Good. Again, just watch this. I can do this exercise quite light. Now there's some value in doing that, but get a sense a little bit more like of a kind of moving through water. like pushing away. It's not quite pushing, but it's like working with the resistance. So it's like a kind of, that means that the best way to think about this is like, think about your lungs. They work by like expanding and opening out, but they don't do it like in empty space. They don't kind of come out. They do it through the body, like, so there's a kind of expansion against something. Against is the wrong word. It's like an expansion with the thing, but just get a sense of something like, again, it's about this kind of movement, breathing. I want to make it breathe. So it's got a quality of like this. And you can also just use the breath. Just it. What you find with the breath was the center starts to really engage, so the core starts to kind of switch on, contribute to the movement. Good. What I want to do now is just let it come over, so just work your way up, bring the hands more and more over the top, and they're just going to kind of dangle above the head. And then this exercise is much more about the connection between the hips and the elbows, so really feel that the elbows get dragged down. You're not quite swinging the arms over yet, just bringing them to the head, bring them down. Keep a sense of openness in the shoulders. Again, just listen to the knees. I don't want to twist against them. Drop it. Drop it. Good. Just let everything start to settle down. Boom. Everything settles down. Boom. And then just start to, boom. You're going to let it curl over. So you're just going to go one way. Now this arm goes this way. And this arm goes this way. So this is a good right brain, left brain. Oh, I know. Just watch if you start to do this, like front crawling. Let one go back, one go forward. Good for the brain. Confuse your own brain. Make it work. And then start to feel you're kind of gaining the momentum at the top, swing it down. Again, let everything settle down, especially as you raise the hands. Let everything settle. That's it. Yeah, good. One goes forward, one goes back. One goes forward, one goes back. That's it. This is the hardest exercise to teach, I find. One of the hardest, and I struggle in person, so on Zoom, totally a struggle. But if you get lost with this, go back to this one. So there's a kind of progression in the exercise, this, and just swinging the arms. Now, if you get lost to the point where I'm starting to do this, what the hell am I doing with the arm? Go back to this one, because this is the essential part of the technique, which is splitting the arms from the center. So this is the exercise, and then it's just expanded out. The second step is like bringing the hands up, dropping them to the head. That, and then if I can get that, I can probably just carry it over. And you can do this both ways as well. So one hand forward, one hand, boy. And if you lose it, go back to this. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, and then follow. Good. But if you get totally lost, go back to that first movement. That's the essential part. Again, this kind of exercise, I really recommend you do for like 10, 15 minutes. I know you're going to say it's like stupid, but if you've got 10 minutes like to spare, do an exercise like this and go into it really deeply. It becomes like a kind of hypnotic exercise once you get into it. Your thinking head will just go like, boom, disappear. So you will get totally into the movement. That's what you want. At the moment, it's going a lot through the head, trying to think about the coordination. If you do it for kind of 10 minutes, it starts to drop away. Serena, very good. Very good. Yeah, great. Nice. Great. Okie dokie. So, great. Okay, good. Take a jump. So we're going to do some Josobu. So we've covered 1 to 5, not last week, the week before. So I want to do like a quick revision today, and hopefully we can take it to the next set of 5, and we'll start to work through those. So what we're going to start with is just here. So you're in Jokamai, just here, and the first one, number 1, is just letting it come to the back and thrusting through. Take it nice and light, no speed, no power, just looking at one motion, nice and solid, coming down, let the whole body go, boom. Right. Let the whole body go, going back. So number 1, and this is called Chokkusuki, so it means like a direct ski. That's it. Okay, good. Okay, one point about the saburi. In general, the saburi are done on the line, down the line. It's probably a better way to think about it. So just watch in this case, don't come off the line with it this way. It's possible to do that, but for me, the best way to do the saburi is like keep them as simple as possible, and to train that dynamic, much more simple. It's actually much more difficult to do it on the line. So that one of the reasons to do it on the line is that it really forces me to engage the hips fully into it. And I can get out of that by doing this. Really engaged. And I'm using the line, going off the line to kind of mask my non-hip work. So go to here and then just think about coming down the line. So in general, you want the saburi to be as simple as possible. So if I can make it simpler, I will make it simpler. So it should always be the simplest possible movement. And then that's your baseline to work from. You can adapt it later. Nice. There we go. Good. Number 1. Okay. I don't know if you can see. I set up a new makiwara. Let's see. Hopefully you can see. You see my new makiwara? It's very light, so I'm not hitting it very hard. I don't want to break the chair. Just get it. One of the things you need to train in the saburi is consistency. So how to be consistent. I can't bend so much. How to be consistent with the saburi. So Shomanuchi number 1. This is the perfect one for the bokken. You need to be consistent. Like I'm hitting the same spot every time. Boom. Now you're not doing that with the bokken. You're doing it with the whole body. So that's a bit of difference, but it's a bit for me where Aikido and archery meet. I need to be totally consistent with my mark on how I hit the target. So if you've got something like a makiwara or something, don't do it. But if you've got something on the wall, like a mark on the wall, now I look for those in the dojo. So when I go to the dojo, I'm doing saburi, that mark, and that's the mark I'm going to hit every time. But I don't do it with the jug. This is the key thing. So just get a sense that you're going to every time hit the same mark, hit the same mark. Hit the same mark, hit the same mark. And again, that ability to do that gives you precision that you can go to the level where with a partner, I can really hit the right spot every time. So this is what we call like the sweet spot. And this is true in everything we do. Ikkyo has a sweet spot, ski has a sweet spot, Kanage has a sweet spot. They all just work on it. Now that depends on your partner. In terms of solo work, there's a sweet spot which is like bam, every time it's the same, bam. Now I want you to train in that kind of way. Go. Okay, give it a try. So if you've got something on the wall, I don't have to bend over anymore. If you've got something on the wall, like a mark on the wall, just get a sense you're gonna every time hit the spot. And also, I used to do this in football a lot. Like there's a mark on the door on the wall. I'm gonna kick the ball to the mark every time. Kick the ball to the mark every time. So you want that level of where you're training precision fanatically. You want to be fanatic about this kind of level of precision, because this will really, really allow you lots of freedom later, especially when you're working with partners. You've just been able to every time hit the right spot. That's it. Gathering objects. What's going on here? Good.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna highlight you, Adrian. 1 second. There we go. Yeah, this. Hopefully you can see Adrian. This. So if you use something like this, like also I would also say like use a fragile object, something you cannot hit, and something that if you hit it, you'll knock it over. So you want that level of precision where I have a good feedback on my actions as well. So that level of I use bottles in the dojo or something like this, or wine bottles are great. Empty ones better. Then so use them kind of precision training like this. Just see what you've got around you. It can be it can be a book on the wall. It can be a door. It can be, or it can just be simple like a mark on the wall, like a subtle mark on the wall. Just go for it. It needs to be the right kind of height. It needs to be around your natural height where you would hit. And yeah, we're going a bit technical now, but hello, Adrian. I take you off. There we go. That's it. Great. Good. Great. Okay. Just in terms of where the strike is, this is specific to you, but it's always going to be the same kind of level. For this strike, it's going to be right in the solar plexus. So it's going to be right here. Boom, for this ski. Now that's for you. That's your solar plexus. So you train to hit your own. So you want something that's basically your level this way. So this is basically on my level and that. Yeah, and just train on that level. So this is really useful later, especially when we go to strikes which are to the knees or to the top of the head. You basically use yourself as your reference. That's it. Great. Yeah, and again, this is where archery for me really is great. So we do like Western hunting archery. We don't shoot animals, we just shoot targets. But the idea with all archery is almost always the same, especially the Japanese method, that everything you do in the form, in terms of footwork, hip work, how you place the shoulders, this is all the aiming. So everything in the archery, every step of it is part of the aiming. So the Japanese always start with the feet when they do archery. So everything you do is aligning to your target. It's not about the bow and it's not about the arrow. It's about the whole thing. So it's the same when we do this thing. So this kind of setup is essential. I want to really, I've got the target and everything hits it. So the whole body is hitting the target. So just go on that kind of level. It's not really about the jaw, or it's not just about the jaw. Let's say that. It's about the whole thing. You want to hit the target with the whole body and your mind and your intention, everything. Everything goes. There we go. Got it. And this kind of intention training can, in general, be quite light. And this is why martial arts are great, because you have a very clear physical feedback on how I'm using the body to train intention. So this is why martial arts are really great. One of the big benefits we've got. You have a genuine physical feedback on the body. What is going on? Good. I think now highlight burning. Good. Nice. That's it. Good. Exactly. That's it. Perfect. Great. Good. And you basically, with this kind of ability, you want to train. I'll show you on me. You want to train. You first start with, like, for me, it's like 4 fingers. There's like a 4-finger gap between me and I want to strike that every time. So this is not only training consistent, it's training to be careful as well. So that, and then when I go to like 2, 3 fingers, 2 fingers, 1 finger. Once I can get to 1 finger every time, I start to get to like what we call in English like a hair's breadth. Like you can fit a sheet of paper between me and the target. Now, I don't want to train so much on the level where I'm hitting the surface as well. So makiwara training is great because it teaches me to strike through as well. So it's not about touching the surface, it's about penetrating straight through.
So later, what we do with the Joe work is like go straight through it, but I need a consistency with that to kind of go right through it. So the first thing for me is with Saburi work is really consistency. Every time getting everything to come together. Everything to come together. So you want everything to kind of go towards the target. We'll just do a few more there with this one. And all the Saburi are the same, like this. You can train them all the same way. There we go. Great. Good. Great. Nice. Sit. Great. Okay, we're just really briefly going to number 2, the same problem. And now the thing that you're doing differently is drawing the body in this way, coming through. Kind of the grips reversed, all these kind of things, but you're just going to come now over the top. First thing in. Keep that same kind of focus. So you've got to perform this, that. Okay, just give it a try. Okay, one point about the eyes. I don't want you to be like this with the eyes. Just watch. I don't know if you can see my face. I don't want you to be like this. I don't want you to be like Dirty Harry in the spaghetti westerns or Dirty Harry, like this. I don't want you to have like a specific. It's not like a specific target like this. This will screw the whole posture. So the posture is like a gaze. So it's like the eyes is like a gaze. So it's really like soft focus. But where I'm placing the body has a target, if that makes sense. But I'm not hit. It's not like I've got laser beams and I'm kind of. It's not this. It's something else. It's like that. So there's like a soft focus in the eyes. What you're really laser beaming in with is the center. The center comes in. So the eyes can really do whatever. You need a kind of soft focus, but it's not about like a really laser beam eye focus. That makes sense. There we go. That's it. Dropping the feeling into the center, getting out of the head a little bit. And the head's involved, the eyes are involved, everything's involved, but movement essentially is going to come out of the center. There we go. Okay. Nice. Good. Moving on, we go to number 3. So 3 is quite complex. It's going to the back. So what we do is do it in 2 moves. You're going to rotate the hip, change the foot, and find the forearm. So this first move is like this. Here, this, and then from here, step back, come into the shiro. This way. So do this in a 2-step. But again, get the whole body to move together. So it goes 1, 2. Let the whole body go. 1, 2. Give it a try. So Ushido ski to the rear, to the back. Okay, good. Let's see. Okay, good. Good. So the reason we split this out is it's a pretty complex movement. It looks really simple, but it's actually quite complex. The main thing to watch for is doing something like this. It's like floating over the top. It goes to connection work. Connection work's always going to be direct. This. So really feel that movement, it happens here. This. So it's not somewhere out here and then coming back to the. Really feel that the Joe's connected now to the center. Joe's connected to the center, boom, and then it goes back. So feel all the time the Joe connecting to the center. If I go, it starts to go into disconnection. Again, it's not impossible to connect to the center like this, and you're always connected to the center. But I want to give myself the best opportunity to train like a good solid structure through the form. And again, the simpler I can make the form, the better. This. So just do a few like super slow, no speed, no power, and just see if you can find the structure, especially in this first movement. This is like the setup for the step back. So if this is in place, the step back's totally easy. That's it. Yeah. So we've got a kind of problem, which is like pushing out. So it's like this hand pushing out. So don't think about this hand doing anything. This hand catches the joint and this. So what's actually happening is I'm sealing the connection to the hip, but I'm not doing that. I'm not kind of pushing it out this way. So it's much more about this. So it's like doing this. It's not doing this. This will work in opposing function, and then I need to stop it. But just have the sense that it's sealing. So it's much more about sealing the connection than something like that. Yeah, that's it. Roland, you got a question?
Michael, can you please show the footwork, please?
Sure. Okay, this footwork's really essential for us, so I'll show this way. I'm a bit stiff with the knee, but just get a sense. What you don't want to do is this. So I'm going to show you the ways like this. So this foot just rotates into it. See that? This way. So I set the toes up and the knee so that I can just travel backwards that way. But what I don't do, this is like that and then that. So in this case, the ability to just, again, move from the core of the body. And it's about changing the axis.
Okay.
Got it?
Thanks.
And it's a hip mobility issue, usually. That's it. Good. Number 3 is one of the trickiest suburi, actually. Really to do well. That's it, rolling. Good. Ah. That's it, Nick. Good. Good. So again, it's a bit like a kind of breath. There's a kind of sealing in, and then there's a kind of expansion out. So there's something wrong. This is where the ki really comes into it, because you don't need to shout to the ki, but it's the sense of the whole body going into expansion. So there's a focused expansion in the body, which in Aikido we do with the ki. This way. So it's got a sense of something shooting out. So it's got an explosive quality by nature, this movement. So you can do this slowly, like this, but it just becomes. So get a sense, even when you do it slow, it's got this quality of fast. So you can do it as slow as you like, but get the feeling that something's gonna be here, and then something's gonna like press out. This. That ability to go slow, heavy, compressed, that's what you're training when you do the suburi. You don't want to go light with this. This again is where karate training is really great, especially Shotokan. That kind of training of being slow, heavy, lots of breath work, really slow stuff. This really helps. We tend to again be a bit light in Aikido. So get the sense of something heavy, something a bit more dense. Yeah, that's it. Got it, great. Okay, great. Okay, we'll move on. We'll go to number 4. So you're gonna now come in here back, and then striking in with the Gedangashi, coming back. So this is now a combination. You do left side, ski, roll back, and then surge forward with the strike, and then coming back. So it goes here, 1, 2, 3, and really do this in 3 movements again. So nice static kihon work. 1, pause, 2, pause, 3, pause. So that. This is ski gedangashi. Kind of a low returning strike. There's a few issues with this one, but get a sense again, it's about the axis. So when you do this movement, there's a tendency to be pulled around the body from the outside. So especially the Joe, especially this movement, it looks like a circular movement. So I think I need to move it from the outside. And then the movement's like, this is like trying to open a door from like the inside. I want to open it from the hinge. So I want to use the leverage here, but I want the hinge of the body, which is the axis, to make the movement. So it's not about opening the door this way. It's about opening the door here. This. So something's going to go in the core of the body, the axis. That's going to initiate the movement. So if you think about a hinge on a door, it just opens like that, but it doesn't open like this. This is too big a movement. So just get a sense that when you're in this position, you're going to coil through the axis. And you coil through and you just go forward. So you open the hinge and then you press it forward. It's quite a linear movement in essence, with like a tight spiral embedded. That's it. There we go. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. There we go. That's it. Boom. Good. Yeah, the thing you're always also training in Saburi work, so where it will really benefit the Taijutsu work, is you're training Kokyu all the time. So Kokyu's always been trained in this movement. So get the sense that especially this movement, it's got this Kokyu quality. So it's got this. And that means both hands are doing it. We never do Kokyu work in just like one hand, and this hand's empty. So get a sense that you're kind of rolling in, and then there's a Kokyu. Both hands together. There's a that. What I don't do this movement is this. It's much more about this. So it's something between both hands. Boom. So just look at that kind of movement. And this is really like Kokyu work. There we go. Got it. Yeah. Good. That's it. So just let the hand be a bit more extended there. There. We're not here. There. Okay, I made this really obvious, but get a sense of a triangle. So if you think about this hand, this shoulder, and then this hand, you make a triangle with it, and it's a wide triangle. So this point, this hand, and this shoulder. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. That's like a triangle. What I don't do is close the triangle. Then I create a line. It becomes a linear movement then, obviously. Boom. So what I want is something this way. So really establish like a triangle feeling between this joint, this joint, this joint. That way. Yeah. So it's a bit wide. It's like a big wide triangle in front of the body. That's it. Good. Again, it's about letting the movement breathe. If you collapse it into the body, it gets stuck. So I need to let the movement breathe. Bam, bam. That's it. That's it. Got it. Great. Great. Good. Okay, we finished with number 5. So this is ski, shoren, gashi, kuchi. And just do it again in 3 movements. So it goes here 1, 2, join up, and then 3. Initiate with a step. Find the cut. Stop. Just 1, ski, draw back up to the top of the head, and then again, axis pivots, axis opens, press through. And then coming back. So it's here 1, 2, 3. And again, just let everything sink down as you do it. There's a big problem in this exercise. Let's see. And there we go. Got it. There we go. Okay, good. You're all doing it. Good. Good. Think more about the back than the up in this case. So when you draw the jaw up in this movement, think much more about the back. That movement's coming from the back of the body. Yes. So it's got a quality of raising up from the spine to the top of the head. Yes. So it's got this kind of quality. It's not like this. So it's not like, again, it's not about raising from the outside. It's about drawing to the center and pressing it out. Drawing to the center, pressing it out. So I think all the time that connection work to the center is like direct. It's not going to go around, around. This is going to pull me out of the center all the time. So just get a sense of like a really deeply connected center there. Center there.
Michael?
Yeah, hello?
Hello. Are you following the line, or when you're doing the second movement, are you going slightly offline?
Down the line.
Okay.
Totally down the line. This will force you to use the hip properly. Or will just force you to use the hip. So go right down the line. So you're cutting the line in two. Bam. That's it. Got it. Good. Those of you who feel comfortable, just the last one, just work it a little bit more flexibly. So this is where the Joe really comes into its own, where you start to work in a bit more of a flexible move. So now I'm focused really on this. It's all going to kind of come together. But I don't want to go like gung, gung, gung. Let it be nice and smooth. So even in the basic, just get a sense of the quality of the movement. The quality of the connection is very soft between the hands and the jaw. Just got a kind of softness. And if you're kind of comfortable, just start to take it a bit more flexibly into a kind of AIKIKAI movement. Keep it light. Again, it's putting the emphasis on the middle of the movement. It's where all the action happens. It's the really interesting part. Yeah, there we go. Good. Yeah, that's the last few. So this is number 5. This is called Ski Jorangaishi Uchi. Got it. Nice. There we go. Nice, Nick. Good. Great. Very nice. Okay. Just watch one point as you do this movement. There's a big danger that you lose the axis and you come off to the side of the head and then push it through this way. Keep this above the head so it's kind of here, here, there. So it's in this part of the head. And then from here, it comes through. So you're aligning the movement all the time to the axis. And this is the teaching that you get from the Bokken work. So this, and what I want to avoid is that, even like a millimeter, I don't want to go to this point, really here. And then, and again, it's not impossible to connect from the center. It's possible, but this gives you the clearest line of connection. Gives you a really solid connection. So just the last couple, just keep this in mind. And this is from the Shomanuchi work, from the Bokken.
Michael?
Yeah.
You're doing the softer version. How complete should your ski be?
All the time, totally.
So I'm not going boom and here. I'm kind of more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, it's like this. We'll finish and then I'll show. But basically, if you're thinking about compression patterns, that movement from the basic. Let's see, from the basic, it's like this. So I really solidify the structure, and then I'm studying how to press out of that leg to go to the next move, and then how to press into the leg to go to the next move. So if I'm training the basic in that way, the next step's pretty easy because I basically just hijack that movement. So rather than it being like gung, it starts to be gung. So that movement and the next movement become similar, but they follow each other. So it's like gung. Now this is not quite kinanagari. So kinanagari work is when I minimize. This is the wrong way to say it. So in answer to that question, I fully do the ski. So the ski has a full impact, and then through. So each point has a kind of finish focus. But I'm trying to smooth the edges off. When you go to kinanagari work, this is where the movement goes into something else. So it becomes like a kind of and it passes through the strike rather than like pulling back. But that hopefully kind of answers it. But there's a sense that I want to really complete the ski, and I need to complete it to complete the compression pattern in the foot. So it's not just that I'm kind of completing the ski work. I'm completing the compression in the foot. Yeah. And then I can basically bridge the gap. That. And then that. But yeah, and you can basically experiment with it. Actually make the ski soft, because in essence, it's not about the ski. It's about how I'm using the body. So what's important in this case is the footwork. Foot that, and then you can carry it forward.
Okay, blah blah. Hopefully that answered. Good. Okay, good. Nice. Very good. Right. Okay, good. We'll stop there. So those are the first 5 suburi. Again, those are really like the essential suburi. And then the next 5 are also pretty basic suburi work. So we'll cover the next 5 tomorrow, and then we'll do a little bit of playing around with them. So those are the first 5. The main thing for me is getting the first 10 very clear, super clear, because the next 10 of the suburi are really quite advanced levels in terms of connection work. So if we can get the first 10 very super clear, they form like a really very clear vocabulary for where the movements can go next. So that's basically it. Okay, bye. So, どうもありがとうございました。Very good. So for those of you that want, there's a class this evening.
See you tomorrow.
So
Is it at 7 o'clock today?
yeah, we're at 7 EU time,
Yes.
6 GM, what is it, England,
Brexit time.
French